Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. How are you doing, Luando, Tarquin? So far, the only two that have joined. Are you both good? Not tired anymore, just very, very tired now. Right. Let's see. The term test. The term test that you wrote, I think it was the 27th of September. I can't recall exactly. And as I said, the results I've seen in the last emails. It's at our admin office, which is basically the final step before I can release the results. So you should. I've got good faith that that I can release it sometime later today or tomorrow. If there's any individual chats that you want to have, you're welcome to do so with me. We can do it online. We can do an individual session. We can do it in class. If I believe that the question is going to benefit everybody in their preparation for the exam. And alternatively, you can drop me an email, but you will have the feedback recordings that we have done over the last 2 days, including this current session. And you will have, obviously, the PDFs, which gives you the model answers to the questions. Okay. We are not permitted to give you the memos or old exam papers, but we can discuss the questions and we can give you, and we will still, in our final preparations, give you similar questions. Then just to practice our, especially our interpretation of the questions, which I think is still where a lot of students are struggling to identify exactly what is asked in a particular question. Now, I'm not going to go through true and false questions. First 15 questions in your test were true and false and multiple choice. 10 multiple choice questions, 5 true and false questions. So we're going to go straight into question 16. And for question 16, it asked us the following, and I want you to maybe contribute first, before we look at what the model answer is. The question is, discuss in your own words why it is important for a salesperson to understand the policies and procedures of the company that they're representing. Why is it important? Because it's fresh in our memories from first session this morning. Remax, real estate, you selling houses. Why is it important for you as a sales representative of Remax, a sales consultant for Remax, that you know the policies and procedures of Remax? Anybody? Any of you currently working part-time or full-time? Morning. Andre joined us as well.
Morning, Doctor. Sorry that I couldn't join this morning.
That's
so
fine.
thank you for having me.
No. We're all balancing a lot of things at the moment. So
yes, yeah.
The question at the moment we've discussed, and it is recorded, and the memo is in the PDF uploaded onto Canvas in week 11. The feedback that you got on your assignment, we've discussed every question individually. The memo is out there for you to maybe compare with what you have submitted until I release the results and your task, and you can see on the actual on your actual answer sheet where you got your marks. And as I said, that I'm quite confident will be sometime today or latest tomorrow, based on the last correspondence I got back from our admin office. We are discussing your term test that you wrote. We're looking at the model answers. And as I said, sessions are recorded, and obviously the answers will also be uploaded. So it helps you to practice for your preparation in preparation for your exam. The question I've asked was the question number 16 in the test. That's the first question that followed the multiple choice section. The question is, you've got to discuss in your own words, why is it important and that salespeople know the policies and procedures of the businesses that they work for? And the question I've asked, and Tarquin said that he's too busy with a lot of other things and focusing on his studies, and that should be priority at the moment, to do any kind of additional work. The question I've posed out there, just to make it more relatable for you, is anybody working full-time or part-time, and look at the businesses that you are currently working for. Why do you think it's important that you know what the policies and procedures are at that business? Anybody?
Look, it's for the safety of the business. And I would say that I'm not reading anything. I'm just telling you.
No. And I don't want you to, because we're going to, on the next screen, we'll have a model answer or guided answer.
And then the other one is the example I'm thinking is like, I mean, how can you offer discounts and things like that? I mean, that's all in your policies. What are you allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do? And it's just it's protection for it protects the company and the customer probably as well.
Exactly. What am I doing at Stadio? I'm a lecturer, but I'm actually also in sales. Every single lecturer at Stadio is also in sales, because the way in which we present the module sells an experience to you, and the experience you have, if it's great, you will share with others who are not currently studying with, maybe a brother, a sister, a friend who's currently in school says, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, this is what I want to study, but I'm not sure where to go. If your experience with Stadio has been great, you would say, "Wow, you know what? I've got the answer for you." If they end up with us, is irrespective, because there are people at Stadio working marketing and sales who will go through the whole selling cycle, all 10 steps. But in effect, what I'm doing is I'm selling. So why is it important that I know the policies and procedures of Stadio? It's important because otherwise I could have said, you know what, guys, for a couple of bucks, I can actually give you the memo for the test, or I can actually.
How much?
See, so I need to know what the procedure is. I need to know that when I market, then it goes to the moderator within 4 days. Then the moderator has 4 days to moderate it. Then it goes to the program coordinator. Then it goes to the academic manager. Then it goes to the admin office, and they are the ones who eventually says, "We've checked. So more steps have been added in the quality insurance process since the first semester, but it's still a specific procedure. I know I can't release the results if I haven't been authorized to do so and given the go ahead, otherwise I lose my job. I need to know, and you're quite right, Andre, it's for protection of the business, and it's also to ensure that when it gets to a point where, for instance, negotiation stage, in the selling cycle, you need to know what your boundaries are. No, of course I can give you 50% discount. You can't give him 50% discount if it's not company policy. You know what's going to happen? You're going to, for the first time that happens, it's going to come out of your pay. Next time it happens, you're going to be out on fired. Simple as that. You're going to lose your job. So it is important that we realize that businesses do things differently. The type of industry, in the type of products that you are selling, the services that you are selling, they are all aspects that will influence, no, not influence. They are all factors that contribute to the amount of information you need to know about the policies and procedures of your company. Especially for credit policies, delivery policies. No, sir, don't worry. We can get this product delivered for you in 2 days, 2 ticks. We have a lot in stock. Don't promise that if you're not sure. Okay. Pricing methods is unless, and sometimes these policy procedures are temporarily modified when there are promotions that's being run. Right. The model answer you'll find on the screen. Any one or any four of those marks that I've indicated would have counted towards the mark that you eventually got. When you finally get access to, or when the marks are finally released, you'll see that in your you will see where you got your marks, but then this model answer would be in there as well for you to check and see if you got all the marks that you should have got, or I don't know, you're going to keep quiet if you got more than you should have got, but you're definitely going to you're definitely going to complain if you got less. But anyway, no, I'm joking. It's tongue in cheek. The fact is, you have these guidelines. It's now in a PDF format, uploaded on Canvas. It's in this recording, and you will find it in your paper when you get your feedback as well with your actual mark. Okay. Next question was, you're a sales rep, and you've been given a certain specific territory to operate in. That particular territory, the approximate turnover for the year is 750,000 Rand. The cost of the goods, or to get the goods sold, is estimated to be 64% of sales, which is 480,000 Rand, and the sales business direct cost is 45,000 Rand a year. And now we wanted you to calculate. I've skipped the question. Okay, I'll do question 18 first, and then we'll go back to question 17. My apologies. We wanted you to calculate the annual gross profit. Okay. And here, mark allocation is not just, if you got 270, I gave you 2 marks, but because the question specifically says that you have to show all your workings, show all your calculations. Okay, I want to know that you didn't just type it into a calculator. Right. I want you to know that you understand the process. So basically what it is your total annual turnover, 650,000 minus the 480,000, which is your cost. That's the first step. That's how you got to 270. Okay, so you got 2 marks for the right answer. You got a mark, and now we want you to calculate that as a percentage of your gross profit. Now that's quite simple, people. 270,000 as a percentage divided by obviously the 750, which is your total turnover for the year, times 100, that's 36%. That's how you got that, and that's the calculations, and that's how you got your marks. That's 5 marks out of the 8. The second part of the question says calculate the annual break-even point. Now the break-even point is quite simple. Where you make a profit, where you don't make a profit and you don't make a loss, you will basically now take your you'll take your cost per year. What did we say? That's 45,000. Direct sales business direct cost is 45,000. That's your break-even, not company's break-even. Your break-even, 45,000 times 36%, 125,000 Rand. So you've got to do 125,000 Rand worth of sales just to break even for the year. Okay, that's your okay, people. There are very few chapters in this textbook, or very few chapters that we've covered that you are required to do calculations. If we go back to our exam prep that we did on first period yesterday morning, you saw that there are going to be some calculations in this paper too. Right. Make sure that you cover the chapters in your preparation where we make calculations. Okay. I don't have to tell you which questions, which chapters there are. You can by default figure that out yourself. Right, let's go back to question 17. Question 17 said, describe the importance for an organization to set sales territories. Why must we set sales territories? Why can't we just say we've got 5 salespeople, we want to make 50,000 Rand worth of sales this month. We want 600,000 Rand worth of sales for the year. Guys and girls, go enjoy yourselves. Check in every month. as long as we make our target for 600,000 end of the year. No business operates like that. Okay. If you want to improve your chances of actually reaching that target of 600,000 rand, that's a amount that I've just used as an example for this illustration. If you want to improve your chances of actually reaching that objective of 600,000 for the year, you need to use your sales staff. In this case, I said 5 people. You want to use these 5 people as effectively as possible. You're not going to give Johnny the entire Northern Cape and Western Cape to do. He's going to be just driving from one town to the other, not having enough time to actually make a sale. And then you give somebody else a congested area, which is the size of 3 football fields, and he can walk from one customer to the other. You've got to ensure that you cover the entire area, your potential market. That's the first one. And that you most effectively allocate it and be fair to everybody, because everybody wants to contribute equally to the 600,000 target for the year. There will be people who work harder, but they will get commission on their extra sales. But in essence, if you want to be effective, and you as a sales manager want to be able to evaluate how a salesperson has performed, you can actually put the pegs in the ground and say that's the area in which you have to operate. It also ensures that because you're allocating your costs most effectively, that you save on costs, and you're not driving from Uppington to Worcester and then tomorrow you're driving back to Bloemfontein to see clients. That's not cost effective. Okay, Uppington is closer to Bloem, so you would have probably done Uppington and then Bloem if those two have to be in your or happen to be in your territory. Okay, so it helps with your planning to cover the area, reaching all the customers that you need to have more effectively, more cost effectively, in other words, saving costs. And if you have optimized your activities within an area because you've been given a specific area to focus in, by going to a client 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year, you build a relationship with that client. So it's obviously, if they like what you offer, if you offer them great service, gradually over a period of time, whatever they spend is going to gradually increase. Okay. So those are some of the reasons. I think the majority of you got most of it correct. We can revisit this when you actually have your papers back and can see where you made your mistakes. Let's go to question 19. Question 19 is the one about VW. Question 19 is about VW. You've got a new little Polo. You're the salesperson. There are some specs on the vehicle. And the question was, indicate how you could apply each of the steps in the selling cycle to sell the new VW Polo. Now, as I said to you in the prep yesterday, and I repeated it in regularly in the session since, and previously in other modules that we've had, read the question, and read the question, and then answer the question correctly. Indicate and apply. In other words, to get, and you'll see 10 times 2. The mark allocation, again, is your guide. 10 times 2. You know there's 10 steps in the selling cycle. I'm going to get 2 marks. I'm going to get 1 mark for indicating what the step is, and I'm going to get another mark for giving an example that is related to VW. Common mistakes made by students. A, they named the steps and said, you know what, 10 marks out of 20 is better than nothing. So they basically just gave me the 10 steps. Okay, that's good. It was an open book test, so maybe you were good at copying, so you can actually go to page 7 or page 8 in your textbook and you can just copy it, and you finally got 10 marks. End of the year exam is a closed book. You've got to now know the 10 steps and remember the 10 steps and apply the 10 steps. So the 10 steps, not very effectively applied consistently by all the students in this module. Some steps you got it right, some steps you got it wrong. Quite simply, people, if you go through the 10 steps and you applied to selling a VW Polo. Prospecting, what's prospecting? Well, I have to find potential customers, right? Potential customers. How do you apply it? Where do you find potential customers? Remember, prospecting is not just naming and saying to me, I need to find customers who would be interested in buying a VW Polo. My goodness, I'm interested in buying a Polo. My son's interested in buying a Polo. My youngest son is interested in buying a Polo. He hasn't got a license yet. He hasn't. So, you know what? That's not the answer. The answer is, where do I find? What prospecting am I going to do? Remember, in your assignment, there were prospecting methods that you had to identify for Remax. Now, this is what this means. What am I going to do? You know what? I'm going to start. One way of starting is prospecting is I'm going to look at who are currently owners of VW Polos. That's on our system. I'm going to check and see when last they bought the Polo, how old that Polo is. Maybe they want to upgrade. Okay. I might advertise and say, right, book a test drive on the new VW Polo. That's how you prospect. And also including that and say, right, I'm going to phone those people to find out if they actually are, because every potential person who drives a car is a potential prospect. Is a lead, is a potential prospect. You want to qualify them as prospects. So they must have a need for the product. Might be, it might be that you have access to a database of individuals, or maybe as part of your network, you know who actually writes and passes their exams and gets their licenses, who would be maybe in the market for a car. You can actually look at databases that provide you with information. Maybe you at a school, you can just because you might have children, and you can then maybe just start with the kids in your class, in your son or daughter's grade, for instance. You know who the parents are. You maybe see them next to the hockey field or the rugby field or the sport field, other school events. You sort of know what they are doing. They might have a brother and a sister who's finishing school, who's in matric, and at some point they would need a vehicle, and dad's looking to buy a vehicle for, or some dads are looking to buy vehicles for their kids so they can actually attend a university or a college. Okay, that's people. I've shared so many ideas now. I think you get the message. Your pre-approach. What's the pre-approach? You have to prepare, you have to plan, because you now are in the 4. You can basically, in pre-approach, you can apply the 4 steps that you did in your assignment for planning the sales call, because this is where you're going to plan. So you make the call to get the interview or get the appointment. The approach. Right. Approach. What's the approach? It's anything that you do that will give a very good first impression. How you dress, how you behave, your mannerisms. Are you on time? Are you prepared? Okay. It's quite simple. No point in finding a prospect in step number 1 who wants to buy a VW Polo, and you are 10 minutes late for the appointment, or when they visit the sales room, because they actually said that during lunch they will pop in. You're not there because you forgot about it and you took lunch. No, that's people. I'm running through ideas. As you can see, I'm not reading off the memo. I'm just giving you ideas, because there is no right and wrong answer. There are different answers, because different students have different make associations to certain situations differently. Your frame of reference is different to the student next to you, or other students in the course, and therefore your angle on the answer is going to be different when it comes to the application. And that's where, when it comes to applications, I use a lot of discretion. I have a good idea of each of your backgrounds. So I've got a fairly good idea of where you are from, what you are exposed to. I take that in consideration when I draft the papers, so people can relate to the case studies. I cannot obviously accommodate everybody with every single question, because sometimes you have to push the envelope a bit, and you have to test your, be exposed to new things, because if you keep on repeating the same things, you're going to become so used to that you can do nothing else. We don't want you to do that. We want you to be exposed to new experiences, because that is where learning happens. Okay, I'm not going to go through all 10 steps. They're quite simple, straightforward. Read through it. I think you understand them. You've done it in your assignment as well. And there, yesterday, we had quite a lengthy discussion on the 10 steps in the selling cycle applied to buying a house, or in your case, as salespeople, selling the house. Right. Question 20, visiting patterns. The 4 were given to you, the 4 different illustrations as you find it in your textbooks or in the slides. The first one was a straight line, and you basically have to just discuss and explain to me what a straight line is. I could say confidently that 90% of the students completed this correctly, because it was quite simple and straightforward. Okay. How did you get your 3 marks for each? You can actually look at how the marks were allocated on the screen or in this particular PDF when you download it from Canvas. Second one was cloverleaf. Third one was the spiral pattern. And then the fourth one was the zonal pattern, or the zone pattern as it's also called. Right. Let's continue. I just want to go to full screen on my side so I can see a bit more. Question 21. Question 21 was that in qualifying a prospect, there are certain things that the salesperson should look for. Discuss the 6 criteria for qualifying a prospect. What are you looking for when you're qualifying a prospect? Now, yeah, the answers were varied, but again, the majority, probably 60% of the class got the spot on. In other words, they must have a need for the product that you are offering. They must have the ability to buy it. They must have the authority to buy it, the urgency of the need, the frequency of the usage, and then obviously the size and importance of the sales transaction. Those are the 6 ones. You could pick any 6 of those to get your 6 marks, and then when you actually applied it, it would or explain to me what is meant by the customer must have a need or a use for the product. Okay, if you provided an explanation with that as to what that particular criteria meant, then you got your 2nd mark. Okay. At any point, people, you can raise your hand, or you can interrupt, you can unmute yourself, and you can ask a question. Okay. Question 23 was quite simple and straightforward. Question 23 said, that's the sales call planning. And guess what? What did I say when you do your preparation for your tests and exams? What is also important, apart from those 3 steps?
Read the question.
Those are the 3 steps.
Oh, those are the.
I said in preparation for your test, which was after your assignment. Go through your assignment, read the questions in the assignment, because that gives you an idea of not what's going to be asked in the test, but how the questions are structured. I can clearly remember that one of the questions in your assignment, you were asked to do an illustration of the 4 steps in the sales call planning process. Setting objectives. Nobody can say that this is the first time they heard about this. Okay, so if you didn't get the 4 right, hey, you need to work a bit harder. Question 23. Oh, yes, Butylin, our sales cosmetics range of products. Similar to, and I'll repeat this to make sure that everybody got the message. I said yesterday in class, and I'll repeat it again. And if you still don't remember or forget it, you can listen to the recording of yesterday's first session, the 7th period yesterday. It was about exam prep. It's actually listed as such on Canvas 2. And I said in that preparation session that sorry, I've just got trying to avoid another coughing bout, but I think I've averted that. I said yesterday that for your exam at the end of the year, you're not going to get a case study as a attached addendum that you have to download. There are case studies, but they're going to be similar to the case study that you have now here on Butylin or had for Butylin. The information is maybe a short paragraph of about 5 sentences. The case study is like the VW Polo that we did just a couple of questions ago. The information will be in the text because it's not substantial and it's something that I designed myself and I didn't pull it from a website and to use it as an example and therefore referencing it. It was something that I took and I designed the question myself in the form of a case study. So you will get a case study like that in your exam as well, similar to this. So once you've read those 2 short paragraphs on the cosmetic sales of Butylin, the question was prepare a brief telephonic script that you will use to when you're actually going to phone a prospect. It's quite simple. I had some very creative ones. Thank you very much. I quite enjoyed it. Here is just an idea of how you got your marks. Remember, we said referring to the fab elements. In other words, you had to somewhere in your telephonic script, you had to refer to the features, advantages, and the benefits. So you're introducing yourself. Most of you did that. Asking the prospect if it's convenient time to speak. Most of you did that. Indicating the purpose of your call. Most of you did that. Inform the customer about the features of the product, and sometimes the features, the benefits, and the advantages can be in one sentence, can be listed, and you got 3 marks or something like that. But then also to Butylin specifically. Remember, when you do a telephonic script, it had to be relevant to the case study. Otherwise, why did I include the 2 paragraphs on Butylin? Okay, so when you listed features, advantages, and benefits, it had to be related to Butylin. Okay, and the products or some of the products that they might have offered or might offer, and that were mentioned in the paragraphs. People, as I said, I'm trying to, as far as possible, make the case studies relatable to you. But in this case, we're talking about beauty products. But 2 questions ago, we did VW Polos. Some people will benefit from the one, and some will benefit from the other. And some people who are more versed and who read more and have experience a bit more in life, they might be able to relate to both of these. Okay. And then obviously ask the customer if they are interested to place an order and thank the customer for their time. That's how you got to 11 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay, quite simple, straightforward. And we have 2 more questions to complete and we would be done. Making good time on this. Let me see. Question number 24. Question 24 was, identify any 2 types of objections that can be made by customers during a sales presentation. And remember, it was again related to, like the question says, read those 2 paragraphs on Butylin before answering question 23, 24, and 25. So it's still related to the case study. Two types of objections. Quite simple. We're going to go through it, and you got basically 1 mark for identifying the objection, and then the second mark for actually providing us with an example that's related to Beautyland. Hidden objection, stalling objection, lack of interest, no objection. The reason why I'm not rushing through this, people, but can you remember that some of this was done in your assignment as well? Didn't you have to identify a few objections that people might have when they are buying houses? Can you remember? We finished it in the
question like that.
yes, we did it in the first period this morning. And I actually said one of the last examples I used was the one with Poops Daisy, too quick, the company objection, maybe based on the bad experience previously with Remax in the case study. In this case, objections about the company apply to Beautyland, and I'm going to go through some of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. I want you just, I don't want to, you need to use your creativity as well. But a company objection would be, for instance, that, you know what, I'll be honest with you, I've never had a Beautyland. I'm therefore a bit wary to buy products from a company. I know, and what you've said to me and everything, all the information that you've shared with me now is very interesting, and I definitely need some of the products that you referred to, but I'm just a bit skeptical. I don't know too much about this company. Basically, what they're saying is they don't know the company, and they're asking you to give you more information. You know what, I can completely understand your concerns. We get this regularly because we are a new company, but here's our website, www.beautyland.com. Have a look. You can see that everything is fine. You can even place an order online once you are there. And that will give you an idea, because we have our mission statement, all the results from the research that's done on the products before we actually brought them out. It's all on there. Okay, so this is a way to react to an objection like that. Financial objection. We know that products, beauty products, cosmetic products are expensive, right? I mean, yes, at my age, I don't use a body wash and shampoo. I use a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner that I can also wash my body with. It's expensive, people, and no, I think it's a concern that I said this morning as well, an objection that you can expect any prospect to raise. There's always finances. You don't have the money, or the product is too expensive. That's why in the first question we did this morning, it's important that you know the policies and procedures and the boundaries in your credit. You know what, ma'am, yes, the products are expensive, and cosmetic products are expensive, but you're buying a quality product. Because the product quality is so high, you need to use half the normal amount of the product that you would normally use from a product that you buy over the counter in Pick and Pay or in Clicks. So it is the quality of the product is much higher, therefore you pay a bit more. But I'm pretty sure we can arrange something. I know we have credit policy options available where you can actually pay a certain amount towards your purchase. Might even do some discounts and whatever, but I'm pretty sure we can arrange something if you know what the policies are of the business. Okay. I'm not going to go through all 6 of those objections. You could have selected any 2 of them, and you can have explained them in the manner that I've just did. What I've just done, is that clear to you? Are you quite happy with my explanation on how the question was addressed and answered, or should have been or could have been answered? Okay. Take that as a yes. Final question. Identify and describe any 2 closing techniques a salesperson can commonly use. Again, something that was not new to you, because Was it in your assignment? Yes. We did address closing techniques in the assignment. We addressed it in the first period this morning when we said you're working for Remax as a sales rep, and the possible closing techniques that you can use is the alternative close, the direct request, where you ask for the assumptive close. We've done it in great detail this morning. Complementary close. Summarizing the benefits. Doing the balance, the budget type of close, where you look at the advantages and the disadvantages and you balance them out when you come to, let's say, for instance, one of the products. You are using a night cream, and the one that you've been using costs you 300 Rand a month. You apply it, but you have to apply a lot of it every evening because it's absorbed quite quickly. Therefore, it just about lasts you a month. Now you're going to pay 500 Rand for the Beauty Linen product, the night cream product, but because of the quality of the product, you actually don't have to use as much on your face every time, and it lasts you for 3 months. Okay, so you're going to pay 500 bucks for something every 3 months, as opposed to 300 bucks for a product that is not of a good quality that you have to replace every month. So that's 900 bucks compared to 500 bucks if you look at it in those terms. Okay, I think you're getting the message. Everybody clear with that? Previously, Darwin and like I said, they are quite happy with the explanations I've provided. Anybody else? Anybody else who has a question or anything that they want to contribute to? You're all good? There are a few other closes that you can still use, closing techniques. I've just added everything. You can go through that, and the marks were allocated by selecting any three of these, or sorry, any two of these, naming the one and saying, this is a negotiation close, and the negotiation close means that the customer actually has made up his mind that they want the product, and that they therefore, oh my goodness, yes, we've run out of time. Where's my mind? Everybody good? We've done it. This is it. And for a change, folks, that is it. As Disney would have said it. We will chat again tomorrow, and we will have the first period at 8 o'clock. What I want you to do is come to class tomorrow with questions on chapters that you want us to look at again, and we'll do that tomorrow. Okay. Keep well, stay safe, make good decisions, and take care of yourselves. We'll chat again tomorrow, first period at 8 o'clock. Thanks, everybody. Keep well.
Thanks, Jacob.
Pleasure. Always, Andre.